lives are drawn out for us by a master artist. But we are given the colors to paint our own souls. Some days the colors we choose enrich who we are. Other days our brush strokes seem to leave shadows over the person we long to be. This is when we need a vision greater than our own. If we look from afar, we can see the beauty of the dark and light hues, working together to create a balance. From this perspective, we can see ways to illuminate our lives with fresh, true colors as we slowly become the masterpiece we were designed to be.
Creative people have a way sometimes of recognizing each other's souls pretty quickly, and if you see or sense another kindred creative soul, you very quickly are drawn to that person. And I knew Alana simply as my stretch class instructor, but it came as no surprise to me to find out pretty quickly the range and experience of her creative life.
I don't know of anything that is more beneficial to feeding one's soul and healing wounds than having an outlet in an expressive vehicle, whichever way it is, whether it's painting, whether it's drawing, whatever you can find as a form of outlet to express your creative juices is just without doubt the most therapeutic and healing and rewarding and self-fulfilling way that one can ever dream of doing it. There's no doubt in my mind about that, and I'm living proof of that.
I was born in 1941. Should I admit that? Slap bang into the apartheid period of South Africa's history. I had a relatively unhappy childhood, mainly due to me not being the little Miss Goody Two-Shoes my mother expected me to be. Instead, my mother got a feisty, untamable, wild redhead who hated school, was a terrible student, and failed exams more often than passing them. The joke is that I remember coming back from nursery school after the first day and telling my mother, "I'm not going back there." "Why?" she asked, and my reply, "Because I know everything already." My hatred of school or studying started way back then. So, from adolescence and early adulthood, I worked at becoming the best at the things I was good at in order to win my mother's approval. I never did, despite being a principal dancer in a professional flamenco company, becoming the top ceramic muralist in Johannesburg, and winning many awards.
We met at the beginning of 1954.
54.
That's when we all went to high school together, and we became friends, if I remember, almost instantly.
Immediately. I don't know what drew us, because in time we realized that you were actually very different. You were very conventional. And I suppose you always had that unconventional streak in you, but it's good it was like not so clear.
I was the absolute outsider, and I I don't know what it was, but I just clicked with the four of you, and we became the inseparable five throughout our entire school, even though I was very different from all of you. My background was different, my home environment was different.
We laughed that because your background was different.
Yeah.
We didn't have all those interesting people visiting. We didn't have the wonderful coffee and strudels. We didn't have any of that.
At that stage of my life, I had no idea that I was dyslexic. Okay. I just found studying and being at school very, very difficult. So when I left school, I went to the technical art school and I did commercial art. That was my subject. And I did ceramics just as an extramural activity. And I absolutely fell in love with working with clay. And I started making really massively big pots. You must remember that all this time I was dancing. I was a member of the Mercedes Melina dance company because my ballet career had to come to an end as my tits got too big. Because there was no way that I was going to do ponchos in a tutu and have my bosom falling out of the tutu. So I had to give up the ballet career, and I started doing flamenco dancing, which first of all suited my temperament much better, and it didn't matter that I was curvy, and I absolutely loved flamenco dancing. And when Mercedes started the dance company, I was one of the founder dancers in that company. So my dance career was going great, and I was a student at the art school. And while I was a student at the art school, I was very friendly with Egon Günther, who owned one of the most prominent galleries in Johannesburg at the time. And he saw some of my pottery that I was making at the art school as a student. And he said, look, I'm having a big Christmas show, and I would love to include you in that show with a lot of other famous potters and artists. And I said, that would be great, but I'm not going to be here because I was due to travel to Rhodesia with the Mercedes Melina Dance Company because we were performing in Salisbury at the time it was, and Bulawayo. And I was given the news that my work had totally sold out on the opening night of the exhibition while I was away. And it was really a very exciting and affirming thing. So when I came back to school, to college, after that exhibition, they told me, no more. You are no longer considered a student. You've had an exhibition. You now are a professional. You have to leave. You cannot be part of the college ceramic department anymore. On Saturday, the start of May, a phone call came from out of the blue, offering a child just born to a young couple who'd battled long to have a child of their own. This newborn babe, abandoned, lay in a nursing home this very day. And so it was, with this call, into parenthood their lives did fall. No time to stop and wonder, just filled with joy, no time to ponder on what it really means, the role of parenthood, and yonder. No 9 months to prepare for babe and mom with utmost care, already pregnant but not aware, so all too soon another there, and still one more to the nest arrived. Wonder how mom and dad survived. What twist of fate life had spun, for to those childless man and wife, in just 2 years, an overturned life. 3 little girls with black, red and brown curls ran and played and laughed and cried. Alas, with all this, the tension grew, and from the nest the father flew. So I had 3 little babies, now all under the age of 2. Judy, unfortunately, had been born with the placenta not functioning, so she had been born with minimal brain dysfunction, which we only actually got a diagnosis for at the age of 6. And so it was a really tough time because I had a very busy and productive studio with a staff of 15, and I had these 3 little babies, each of a different age and in a different stage of development, and it was a really tough and challenging time. I somehow feel that in a lot of ways I failed you guys as a mother in the early years. I was also very aware of how if I hadn't had that ceramic studio, I probably would have been in a mental institution. I really do think it was my salvation and my sanity holder.
I think that the places in which we as mothers sacrifice our own self-nourishment, our own time for ourselves, our own pursuing of our own careers and interests for the sake of the children, because it's not true. Because I think we model for our children, especially our daughters as mothers, and you had daughters and I have daughters, we model for them through the way we treat ourselves. And I think that you pursuing your career and being such a highly motivated and driven person was one of the positive things that I drew from with you as a model.
We actually grew up pretty much with our hands in Mom's pottery studio, and we'd end up, there were huge vats of recycled clay. It's like mud with water in it, and we'd be plonking our hands in it, and they'd show us how to make a pot. Mom would show us, and we'd be dabbling, making little pots, and we'd be taught how to throw on the wheel. So I literally grew up in a pottery studio, and that creativity stems directly from Mom and growing up in that studio.
It was a bit difficult because I felt that I wasn't accepted. I felt that I'm different from them. I wasn't able to have the kind of independence, freedom, things like that. I went to special schools and it was hard for me.
Touch the earth inside my being, hands deep in clay. Touch it. Hold it, mold it, in the clay I play. Solid ground beneath my feet, touching the earth inside my being. Take it, and hold it, and mold it. Then I was lucky enough to land a job with W. Hyman, who were interior decorators. And very often I would use some of my pots that I had as part of the window display in the shop. And a woman walked into the shop one day and she said to me, "Won't you teach my daughter ceramics?" I said, "Look, I don't have anywhere to work anymore." She said, "I'll tell you what, if I give you all the servants' quarters of our home in Observatory, and we convert that into a studio for you, would you take my daughter and teach her ceramics?" Now I have to tell you something, right at that very time, I was about to be offered a partnership in this business. You know, when I was at college, we would arrive in the studio, the clay was there for us, we'd make our pots, we'd put it on the shelf, the next week we'd come, it had been fired, The buckets of glaze were all there. We just mixed the colors and did what we wanted, put it back on the shelf, and the next time we came, they would fire it. I didn't know how to fire a kiln. I didn't know how to mix glazes. I didn't know how to prepare the clay. And now I'm going to start a pottery studio with someone and teach them how to make pots, but I don't have any of the technical knowledge. And I decided, fuck it, I'm doing it. The first few kiln firings were a disaster. We made a lot of mistakes, but I started to learn from my mistakes. And one of the interesting things that happened is that I started doing things that are completely against the rules in terms of technical way of doing things. But because I didn't know, I just did it that way and it somehow worked. And so I left that business, and Sandy Burstein and I started a pottery studio. The business was called Elandra Potteries, which was the combination of both our names. So I was teaching Sandy, and we were making little pots using all kinds of different methods and techniques. And I had found a few outlets, a few gift shops that started buying the pottery from me. But fortunately, because of my interior decorating years and my contacts with architects and interior designers, one day I was approached by an architect to design a mural for a building in town called City Centre. At the time that I did that mural, I was pregnant with Judy. I used to bring the baby to the building site in the carry cart, and I was up on the scaffold with my big stomach setting this mural. I just hoped and prayed that the pieces would all fit into the wall and that it would work. I had no idea. I was shitting myself. You have to understand, the way that I have learnt my whole life has never been through formal study. It's been a journey of experiencing, making a mistake, learning from that mistake, taking the next step, learning from that mistake. Experiencing has been my road to knowledge, not through the academic route. I was willing to risk and fail because I loved the journey. I loved the excitement and the adrenaline of testing myself, of pushing myself past what felt familiar and comfortable and safe. And it's been that way my whole life. So as a result of this first mural, my career as a ceramic muralist was born. So Sandy and I continued working together as Elandra Potteries for a number of years. And then when my husband and I bought our first home, we moved the studio to the back of our home, converting our servants' quarters at that stage into a studio. Sandy and I parted ways, and the business then became Elandra Potteries.
Our relationship started over 42 years ago, and we hit it off immediately. And you needed a rep, and I took the job on, and I remember the highlight of all the customers was selling to Keith Kirsten. And I'd arrive in the car park and start unpacking all the goods onto the dusty ground, and the ladies in their fancy cars pulled in, and they wouldn't wait. They wanted to buy the goods off the ground before Keith had even marked them.
I opened my first garden centre in 1978, and somehow or other we connected, and it wasn't very long that we actually, I think, started stocking her pots, which I was very excited about because they were different and very innovative, and I think we even started then conjuring up the idea of having an exhibition for her. The exhibitions were sellouts. And we would have a grand opening always with an invitation that went out far and wide, and they were very grand affairs. We'd have an opening speaker, so it was all very nice. I still go into people's homes around, anywhere in the country, in fact, and I can pick up an Elana piece somewhere in their home. I mean, I've got a great big soup tureen that I still use to this day when I'm serving a vichyssoise or a nice cold avocado soup or something, And there's Elana coming to the dining room table, or the patio table on a hot summer's day.
So the ceramic career became an enormous investment. I mean, I was the designer of the pots, I was the making the pots, I was the invoicer to all the shops, I was doing all the admin work, and suddenly in the middle of all this, Hiram says to me, oh, by the way, I've entered you in this competition for the Businesswoman of the Year. So you can expect to get a phone call one of these days. Anyway, and I am then called into this boardroom, and there is a whole series of people sitting and interviewing me. And then I suddenly get a phone call one day to say, you have not won the competition. The winner of this competition is the managing director of one of the big banking houses, and you are the runner-up. My marriage was now falling to pieces. I had 3 babies. I had a staff of 15 people working for me in the studio. I had a full-time rep. I was in every gift shop throughout Southern Africa and Southwest Africa. It was crazy. I was working 18-hour days, weekends. It was a really all-enveloping career. And then when my marriage fell apart, I was really not in a good space, and I went and did the I Am training because I thought it would be a way to help me to heal myself and take the focus away from me. And after the I Am training, there was another training called Joy Spring, okay, which was like once you'd already graduated from the I Am training, you could do a higher, more challenging, more demanding training. And I was away on this training for, it was a whole intensive weekend. When I came back from the Joy Spring training, I was like flying. I was on the top of the world. And then I came home, it was about 10 o'clock at night, and then the phone rang. And I pick up the phone and he says, I've been trying to reach you for the whole weekend, and I'm trying to get you to submit a design for a mural for a competition for the new Standard Bank Super Block. Oh. And I think somebody's pissing in pulling my leg on the phone, because it's 10 o'clock at night on a Sunday night, and it's foreign accent, and I start saying, yeah, who are you, come on. And I suddenly realized that he's really serious. So I arrange on the Monday morning to go into the architect's office and get all the information about the brief. And it's a 90 square meter mural, wow, which is made up of 3 walls of 30 meters each. I get crazy. I get crazy with excitement. And we work very hard, and I create a sample panel, and I submit it with my drawing and my quotation, and I wait, and I don't hear anything. And then I get a phone call, and he says, look, we've got a bit of a problem, because the design that we like is yours, but you've come in at a price that's much higher than everybody else's. Oh. So can you please re-look at your quotation? And I go away, and I recalculate, and I re-look at what's entailed. It's going to take me a year to build this mural. There's an enormous amount involved in this. And at the end of the day, I want this mural so badly. And I phone him back and I say, I've looked at everything, and I'm sorry, I cannot drop the price, not by 1 penny. Now, I know that if I hadn't done that I Am training and that Joy Spring training, There's no way that I would have had the balls and the chutzpah to take that sort of chance, because I really wanted this job, because I knew that the publicity and the impact of getting this mural was like ricocheting my career totally off the chart. I knew that. Anyway, they came back and they said, thank you, we're going to go with you. And then my career just went totally berserk.
Throughout the project, Ilana worked closely with architects and interior designers. The brief stipulated that the artist could select the medium of their choice, but that the impressions of color should be light and subdued, and take cognizance of the overall interior design concept, presenting a non-figurative element. Tiny only in physical stature, Ilana Slamovitz was inspired in her approach to the competition by the size of the project. This size of project, however, presents its problems. The unknown factors of creating a finished product from a drawing on a drawing board to be related scale-wise to an area of 90 meters requires enormous visual projection, skill, and talent.
These big sections here, for example, are going to be in the blue, and then in the center here of these very projecting pieces, there's going to be a very brilliant red glaze. And these ones that are in the darker ink will be in brown. And the rest of this, all this plain section here, will be white. So there's the combination of these three colors. And what we're now doing is we're marking this drawing into workable size blocks of 2 meters by 1 meter high, and we're working each section, and that's how we're going to build up and number all the back of the tiles, so that when we come to put it back together, we'll be able to put the puzzle all together at the end.
Here, under Ilana's careful supervision, the tiles are set out on the floor in the exact order, so that the professional tiler can start cementing the panel across the wall. As he does so, painstakingly putting the tiles on row by row, the picture starts to emerge.
The wheel of life spins round and round, no warning of what's to come. Just when you think you got it taped, oops, there comes another round. Bumps and turns, ups and downs, grab what you can, no point to resist. Go with the flow, trust the journey, much better not to know. We have no control, the big picture is writ. Enjoy your life story. Celebrate being in it.
I've been working in a pottery studio now for about 25 years. And although my work has changed enormously over this time, and I think that's largely to do with the fact that I've had different people working with me in the studio over this period, and I don't believe in imposing my stamp on other people. I believe it's important for each person to develop their own creativity.
There was a question that I was constantly asked during the time of my ceramic career, and that was, every piece you make is different. How is that possible? That you don't run out of ideas? And I started to figure out a way in my head to design a workshop that would enable people to experience that process for themselves. When you open the tap and you allow yourself to jump into a totally unknown territory and be willing to risk and make an absolute fool of yourself and fail beyond. But the joy of the journey somehow makes the result take care of itself. Then the result isn't inhibited by the anxiety of wanting to succeed. You just stay in the pleasure of the doing. And I just know that throughout every aspect of my life, I have loved what I do with so much passion that every time I make a mistake, it's like, oops, there's an idea for something else. When the pot collapses and it does this, oh, but this turns into a bird. Every piece of failure is the beginning of the success and the idea for the next thing. So it's in the doing that the ideas are born, not in the thinking about them.
What I find is that I'm a perfectionist, so with my vision, I would have been very frustrated with my results. I would have screwed it up and started again and again and again. The fact that I was blindfolded was very liberating. The fact that I knew that it didn't have to be perfect, that it just had to be how I felt it. And how do I think about my results? I'm so glad I was blindfolded.
I had a magnificent home, a Mercedes-Benz, servants, and employed a staff of 15 in my studio. I was divorced with 3 daughters and working my butt off. Life was all about having more, achieving more, and being more successful. I decided to get out of South Africa with its hateful politics and move with my girls who were now finished school to Israel. Naively, I believed life in Israel would be more spiritual and focused on being rather than having. So in 1988, having sold up my home and my thriving studio, we emigrated.
My fantasy was that I wanted to get out of this havingness of life. I reached a point where I was swallowed up on a treadmill that I didn't know how to get off. And my fantasy was that I would go to Israel and it would be a life much more about the beingness of life and the spirituality of life, and the material side of life would not be the focus. That was my fantasy. Yeah, but that's not what the reality is of Israel today. It's not a world of just, it's a very achieving, high achieving, tough, rough, hard life anyway. So when I came to Israel, I had to rush off to Tel Aviv to do this exhibition of my ceramics. And I came back to my flat that night and I couldn't open the door. All my jewelry was gone. They literally emptied my apartment of anything of value. This is the irony of, I wanted to be in the beingness of life and not in the havingness of life. So the havingness was taken away. That was the first thing. The very next day, I went to my sister who lived in Ein Karim, which is a beautiful Arab village on the side of the mountain in Jerusalem. And she's got these very irregular stone steps coming from the house down to the patio area below. And I was carrying a big platter of food down the stairs, and I lost my footing and I went flying forward. So I was now in a situation where I'm left-handed. I had no left hand, this arm, I couldn't speak and I couldn't see and I had no arms. Anyway, so I ended up being entirely and utterly helpless. I couldn't see and I couldn't speak.
Who looked after you?
I had the most unbelievable friend by the name of Beth Troy. And my friends just rallied around and they were on duty 24 hours a day. It's not been an easy time. It's not, and I don't know, every time I get knocked down, it's like the phoenix just rises up out of the ashes. I won't stay down no matter what. I won't. You cannot keep me down. It's just not a possibility.
Ilana has the resilience and the resourcefulness both internally, and she creates external resilience. She has all of that stuff inside of her, and she digs into it, and she's able to bring it out. There have been times, and I've been witness to that with her, where she has felt this tunnel is just dark, and she still is able to do that. She's still able to get out of bed and still be functional. And for that reason, her tunnel becomes lighter and lighter.
Very shortly before I immigrated to Israel from South Africa, I was going through a very stressed time. It had been difficult to try and find a buyer for the house. The property market had collapsed. And the stress of all this, and I remember the psychologist that I was seeing at the time throughout this very traumatic time saying to me, look, Ilana, you're now moving to Israel, you're going to a new country, and I ask you more than anything, allow yourself to be vulnerable. You know, it makes me cry even now when I think about it. Because that was a place that was absolutely not okay for me. I was not able to be vulnerable in my marriage. I was not able to be vulnerable in my childhood life. And when I came to Israel, here I was suddenly thrown into a situation where my level of vulnerability was that I was completely helpless. I had no voice, I had no sight, I had no arms. And it was so ironic how the money had been stolen, my helplessness. It was like life has taken me constantly to places where I've had to learn the lessons that life has to offer in the most impactful way, and it's always out of some deep, meaningful experience that I've had in my life. But it's had its toll. It's had its toll on me physically. It's had its toll on me emotionally. There's no question about it. Put down the shield, undo the armor, drop the concerns about the glamour. Stop protecting that vulnerable place. Open your heart. Be ready to face the joy that enters that delicate space. One drop at a time, tiny specks to begin, dripping, trickling within. Respond to that sound. Let all be profound. Then the joy, the love surely must abound. Say hooray, I'm alive and able to feel all that is living and all that is real. The pain, the joy, the struggle, the fun, together the tapestry is woven as one. I was contacted by the Alin Hospital, which was a hospital in Jerusalem that provided medical attention for children with all kinds of problems, and it was a very, very beautiful hospital that was being run mainly on donation and funding. And they approached me and they asked me if I could create a tree of life for them in the lobby of the building, which they would then sell each leaf to donors, and as the donations would come, so the leaves would grow on the tree. I built this very naive, childlike tree, and within about 6 months, the leaves were so full on the tree that there was no room to put any more leaves. With the funding from that tree of life, they were able to build an additional wing to the hospital. That's how much funding they raised. And as a result of that, we built, in the new wing, we built a second tree. So this was an extraordinarily successful project. I never anticipated that it would become such a fundraising and meaningful project. But what's so interesting is how each one of these projects or things that happened were as a result of me being just in the right place at the right time and picking up the gauntlet and running with it.
But it's about having the open heart, about having the right heart to receive it and hear it.
Absolutely, absolutely,
The same opportunities can be there for anybody, but it's your openness, it's your willingness to pick it up again.
And I had now been invited to create a mural for the Herzlia Medical Center for the lobby. And I only had this very small kiln. So I had to design something that I could make lots of small little pieces that I would then be able to assemble on the wall. No matter what kind of handicaps and disadvantages I had. I mean, I didn't have a big kiln, I didn't have a pottery studio, I was working out of my kitchen in my apartment. I had my arm in a brace, but I wasn't going to let that stop me from making a mural that was the entire length of the entire entrance hall of the foyer of the hospital. I get completely enmeshed in the joy of the activity, of the doing of it. And so it is a totally meditative state. There's no question about it. It is my therapy. It's been the thing that has seen me through some of the most challenging and emotionally difficult and testing times in my life, and there have been a number of them from a very young age right through and continue to be so. When I start setting a mural or setting a panel or a piece of artwork, I have no idea of where it's going. And so what happens is that I just get on the road and I let the road take me to its destination. And all I'm doing is enjoying being on the road. And when I get to the end, I've come to the end. And I look at it and I say, oh, that's, I had no idea that that's what was going to happen, because of this absolute, I can't explain it, because it's like, I give over to the flow of creativity and trust it will take me to the place. I just allow myself, and you know what? There's always the possibility that it's going to fail. And you know what? Very rarely does it, but it doesn't matter if it does, because I'll do another one.